We always saw that by Chazaras Hashatz, when the Chazan would come to Birchas Keyanim, the Rebbe would always turn his face and look at the Chazan. And we knew that this is what the previous Rabbeim also did. And actually it says in Sefer HaMenhagim that Be'eis HaMires HaShliach Tzibur Birchas Keyanim, that when the Chazan would say Birchas Keyanim, Hoya Admurim, Nishmos Eitin, etc., Neitim Pneim Al Hashatz, the Rabbeim would turn their face to the Chazan. So it was always known as something the Rabbeim did. But not that something that everybody has to do. There were individuals who would copy the Rebbe and also do that. But it was not something that was officially known that everyone is supposed to do. You see, it's not like those things that it says that this is minig beis harav. Certain things, especially by Pesach, it says this is the meaning of the Rebbe's household. So the Rebbe said that includes everybody. All the Chassidim follow what it says minig beis harav. But here it says this is a meaning that the Admurim used to do, the Rabbeim used to do. It doesn't say beis harav. But Mele, it was known that this is something for the Rabbeim. Those that wanted to, as an individual, copy what the Rebbe did would do that too, but it was not something known for everybody. But this was still the time when the Rebbe spoke against that the people look at him during davening. And the first time the Rebbe spoke about it was Parshat Mekates, which is Shabbos Chanukah, Tovshin Chov Zayin. And there the Rebbe said that there is a minig that happened now by Spitz Chabad, he said, that something that Leshirum Avisain is something that was never happening. That you have to look in the face of the person who you hear Chassidus from, you have to look in his face at the time of davening. And the Rebbe said, people do that during Hagbeh. During Hagbeh, you have to look at the Sefer Torah. So why are you looking at him? During Birchas Keyanim, you have to look at the Sefer at the Chazan. Why are you doing the opposite and looking at him? And the Rebbe said, people are not only looking, they b'shas ma'aseh, they yawn, etc., etc. And the Rebbe said, the Gemara says, Osur li istakel bifnei nosi. You're not allowed to look in the face of a nosi. In Yerushalmi, it says even more, that Re'uni Norim v'nechbo, you have to hide from him. So Mela Yerushalmi you don't know. But Gemara, who doesn't know Gemara? All you have to do is, if you know how to make a laning, you know how to learn a piece of Gemara, you could know what the Gemara says. The Gemara says, Osur li istakel bifnei nosi. You're not allowed to look in the face of a nosi. So if you do look at his face, so or you're making fun of him, or you want to show that you're an Amhoretz. Then the Rebbe said there are some people that even during the Farbrengen, they don't look at him. They look at their Einiklach, or they look at others. But even those people who do look at the Rebbe Farbrengen, but that's only a time of Farbrengen. But other times they shouldn't look at him. You shouldn't look at him during Hagbeh. You should look at the Sefer Torah. You shouldn't look at him during Birchas Keyanim. By the Chazan and Chazaras Hashatz, you have to look at the Chazan. You have to look. And Bechlal, it's Osur li istakel bifnei nosi. And the Rebbe even used the expression that it's interesting that those that don't hold him for a nosi, they don't look. And those that do hold him for a nosi, they're the ones that look. That's a strange thing when you're not allowed to do it. The Rebbe continued also that you don't look into Siddur, etc., that you think Siddur is for Amaratzim, etc., etc. The Rebbe said more things. But one of the things we understood from the Sikhi is that the Rebbe said that during Birchas Keyanim, when the Chazan says it in Shemon Esrei, in Chazaras Hashatz, you have to look at the Chazan. So till then, we assumed that this was only a minik for Rabbeim, unless somebody wanted to copy the Rebbe. But then the Rebbe said that everybody has to look at the Chazan. And Taka, since then, more people started looking at the Chazan at the time of Birchas Keyanim because the Rebbe said so. See, the other times that the Rebbe spoke very strongly and sharply against looking at him during davening, the Rebbe, I don't think, mentioned this inyan that during Birchas Keyanim, why do you look at him and not looking at the Chazan? Because the Rebbe spoke about this inyan many times. He spoke Shabbos Parshat Nitzovim Tovshin Chov Ches, Shabbos Parshat Nitzovim Tovshin Lamed Hei, Yud Gimel Tishre Tovshin Mem Gimel, Chov Chesh from Tovshin Mem Dalet. But this inyan that you have to look during Chazaras Hashatz, the Birchas Keyanim, you have to look at the Chazan, that the Rebbe said Shabbos Parshat Mekates Tovshin Chov Zayin. And since then, we understood, but the Rebbe made it very clear that everybody should look at the Chazan by Birchas Keyanim during Chazaras Hashatz.